of March 2025. And to discuss further on takeaways from the event, we host in studio a senior advocate attorney from Ndadi Law Firm, Ms. Ednah Ncube. A very good afternoon and welcome to In Context, Ednah.
Hi, Lucia. Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.
So much was said yesterday at the official opening. If you could maybe share with us, according to you, what really stood out.
Yes, indeed, so much was said yesterday by our new Chief Justice, Gaositwe. It was a very interesting address. He started the address by observing a moment of silence for those who have departed, who were members of the legal profession. He then went down memory lane and talked a bit about his childhood. He says that he was almost a victim of a ritual killing. And then he talked about an old case. It's also a ritual killing case about Sekhameti, and reflected on his university days. He says that he was a student activist and he's been an accused in court in connection with that matter because he had been accused of inciting riots. So that matter was tried. He was an accused in court. And really what I found most interesting about the Chief Justice address is he said that he's a man who believes completely in God. He said that all of these experiences, all of that shaped him into the man that he is. He believed that God was chiseling him out to the moment of being a Chief Justice. He said that all these experiences were preparing him for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You did share there that the Chief Justice did share a bit on his experiences, you know, in the past with ritual killings, and that ritual killing that did happen back then, was quite, it caused quite noise.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Quite noise at the time, and we continue to see years preceding that ritual killings, being on the rise in our country. What can we say are some of the things within the legal, framework, the gaps that did exist or do exist that could have seen there being lack of a reduction in such cases, or such cases being dealt with in a way that one would say satisfactory?
Yes. One of the things that the Chief Justice talked about is he pointed out that when he spoke to the President noted that there is a need to have a human rights-based judiciary. So the Chief Justice pointed out that he's a man from humble beginnings. He says that he comes from the vulnerable in society and that he will always have that background at heart. So in terms of addressing ritual matters, I think the most important thing would be we have to have preventative laws, right? And then in terms of the prosecution, we have to have trained personnel to do thorough investigations so that there is justice at the end of the day. Because the Chief Justice did point out that the case in the Sekhameti ritual matter, the perpetrators were never found. They were never tried. There was never any justice in regards to that matter. So I think there needs to be a lot of training when it comes to our police officers, when it comes to our prosecutors, when it comes to the entire judicial system has to be rehabilitated. We have to have more laws to cure that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like for us to just look at the legal frame work of this nation, of this country. Can we say that it's in a position where it can, deliver in terms of, security to the nation of the people, in terms of, delivering justice to those that have been, wrongs, and in situations that do call for justice in our nation?
Yeah, but like I said, the whole justice system needs to be rehabilitated. If you would recall, the Chief Justice in his address, the Attorney General and the Chairman of the Law Society all spoke to the concerns that we have within the legal fraternity. They talked about the backlog of cases. They talked about the slowness in delivery when it comes to our registry. They talked about the shortage of judges. They talked about the slowness in delivery of judgments. The Chief Justice even remarked that delayed justice is as good as denied justice. So although they didn't want to sing praises to all of these problems, they highlighted them because this shows that there is a need to improve so that there can be better delivery of justice. So we would also have noted that the Chief Justice has set a deadline for a backlog of judgments. He has said those who are lagging behind, the judges, by end of March, they should have delivered all of the judgments that are outstanding. So I think, yes, there was also a cry out to the President to say that there's a shortage of resources in the judiciary. There's a shortage of financial resources, human resources. We need to hire more people. We need to hire more judges. We need to hire more clerical staff so that they can be better service delivery.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And on the flip side, Ednah, what can we, let's give credit to our, our judicial system. What key achievements can you point out to say, this is what we have been able to achieve and we've been doing good in such and such an aspect?
I would say that I think our judiciary is quite independent. It is quite impartial, as it should be. We are not influenced by other branches of government, and I applaud that, and I think Botswana would also agree. The mission statement for the judiciary is our vision actually is to be a world-class judiciary. And I think we're well on our way towards being a world-class judiciary. I don't think we're doing too shabbily, and I think it's a thing to be applauded, particularly because of we uphold our values, the most important one of which is botho. I think batho ba lekgotla ba na le botho, diagente di na le botho, di judges tsa rona di na le botho. So I think we're not doing too shabbily, although there is always room for improvement.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Always room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement, yeah.
Right. Now, last year we did see the Legal Society boycott the opening of the legal year. And this year they did come out. What were some of the things that they pointed out as needing urgent attendance to?
Yeah, the members of the bar did boycott the legal opening last year. I think that was prompted by these issues that we've just been talking about, the slowness in service delivery. The Law Society was of the view that these issues are not attended to urgently. But this year, as the chairman of the Law Society stated in his speech yesterday at the legal opening, we decided to go, and us going is not an indication that the complaints have been resolved. No, I think the chairman of the Law Society said that he's happy that the Chief Justice, shortly after he was appointed, saw it fit to invite the Law Society to come and sit down with him so that they can have a discussion about some of the issues that the fraternity is faced with. So I think us going was also to recognize that respect, that okay, he has come here, he has come to hear our concerns. Let us go and let us pledge our allegiance to working together with the Chief Justice to ensure that all of these concerns, all of these issues that the fraternity is faced with are addressed. Yeah.
Right. A lot has been said. Well, we've heard rather in so many occasions they've been said that society or communities have could have an impact in, policy making, lawmaking. I'd like for us to get into understanding how exactly it is that, societies can have that impact or, be a contribution to the laws and policies set for this nation.
It's a democracy, it's a democracy. We live in the age of social media. The society can simply speak out loudly on issues that affects them, speak out loudly on concerns that they have, speak out loudly, because before policy is made, there would have been some discussion. So enter into these discussions and say yes if you agree, say no if you don't agree. Remember the bill last year, that the almost bill that was passed by President, the previous administration, about salary increments, about presidential salaries after they leave the presidency. Remember there was a lot of noise on social media. Remember that bill was withdrawn. That is how we make the change. We speak out on issues that we affect us. We say no when we are not happy with the way that things are going. It's a democracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And youth has been, advised to, or called upon rather, to take part in such discussions and, evoke change and evoke growth in our economy, in our judicial system as well. Let's talk about youth participation in such issues and yeah. Okay,
I think I want to hear that question again, Lucia. Yeah. What do we want the youth to do?
The youth, we hear that young people or the youth, actually youth are advised or called upon always to take part in such things.
Yes.
We are a young generation, we are a young nation, as we've heard on numerous occasions. And so we just want to, maybe highlight the importance of youth participation in, contributing to the framework or the landscape of our judiciary in this nation.
Okay, youth participation is as important as the non-youth's participation. But for youth, it's more so because they are the future leaders of tomorrow. So yes, I would say that I do agree that the youth also has to actively participate in policy makings.
Right, right. Good. Well, I'd like to just wrapping up our conversation, Ednah, I'd like for you to perhaps just give us a round up or just a overall overview of yesterday's opening and what we can look forward to in this year 2025.
Okay. Yes, the legal year opening yesterday, I would say, lived up to its standard of pomp and pageantry. The ceremony began with a procession of attorneys, magistrates, judges, the Attorney General, and of course our new Chief Justice. And then after that, all of those speeches were said. The addresses were quite beautifully delivered from the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, and the Law Society. And I found it quite interesting that the President and the First Lady, because they are attorneys, one is an attorney, one is an advocate, they came robed in their regal, traditional legal attire, and I loved that. I loved seeing that, and I'm hopeful that the issues that faces the judiciary will be tackled on one step at a time. And as one of the famous legal maxims says, fiat justitia, it means let justice be done. And this reminds me of yet another legal principle which says that justice must not only be done, it must also be seen to be done. So those who are watching in the gallery of the courtroom should be like, oh yeah, we are happy with that judgment. We are happy that justice has been delivered. So fiat justitia is all I can say.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the time that we did have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, there we have it. That was Ednah Ncube. And we were wrapping up or talking about, yesterday's official opening of the legal year 2025. Stay tuned for the news at the top of the hour.
Dr. Chiepe, who was born on October 20, 1922, distinguished herself as an educator, administrator, diplomat and politician. An accomplished woman of many firsts, she was the first Motswana woman to earn a college degree and subsequently a postgraduate degree.
Chiepe is one of the first women to achieve a lot politically. Ke dumela gore she have contributed even socially, because I'm aware gore is one of the women ba ileng gore o nile impact entsi politically mo go rona bomme, gore it's possible le ha o le motho wa mme, because she was one of the first women mo cabineteng ya lehatshe. She was one of the first women who achieve not sure ke dumela gore ke di masters.
She was appointed High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Nigeria and Ambassador to West Germany, France, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and the European Economic Community, ECC,